Oh, sisters, let me tell you something that'll curl your toes tighter than these worn-out Birkenstocks on a 90-degree day in Ballantine. 'Cause that's just how that voice message landed on my phone. Sneaky and shatterin', right in the thick of a Tuesday that started ordinary as cornbread muffins, but ended with my whole world cracked wide open. I was perched at my kitchen table, the one with the wobbly leg I keep shimmin' with a folded napkin from last Easter's supper, nursin' a tumbler of sweet tea that was sweatin' rings on the coaster like it knew trouble was brewin'. The Carolina humidity was pressin' in through the screen door, makin' my blouse cling like a second skin, and the ceiling fan was whirrin' lazy overhead, stirrin' up dust motes that danced like ghosts of regrets I thought I'd buried long ago. My phone, that stubborn iPhone I've had since Tamika convinced me to upgrade 2 Christmases back, buzzed once, sharp and insistent, cuttin' through the hum of the AC unit rattlin' like an old prayer. I figured it was just her, my baby girl, checking in after her shift at Atrium, maybe sharing a quick laugh about some patient story or asking if I needed anything from Harris Teeter on her way over. Lord, how wrong a mama can be. I thumbed open the message, hit play without a second thought. And there it was, her voice, my Tamika's voice, all breathy and conspiratorial, slipping through the speaker like smoke from a back-alley cigar. But honey, this wasn't no casual chit-chat. This was meant for him, Jamal, that silver-tongued son-in-law with the megawatt smile and the handshake firm as a foreclosure notice. "Baby, we can't drag our feet on this," she whispered, the words tumbling out urgent, laced with that edge she gets when she's plotting her next mani-pedi budget. Mama's attorney left a voicemail. The will's locking in by November, and that Dilworth house? It's sitting pretty, no mortgages hanging like storm clouds. We sweet-talk her into signing it over, say it's for the nursery, for that little one we're trying so hard for. She'll melt like butter on hot biscuits, always has, pouring her life into us. Once the deed's ours, we list it quick, cash out the equity, and ease her into that cozy spot in Gastonia. Nice view of the hills, bingo nights, the works. She'll never see the flip coming. I froze, sisters, right there with the tea halfway to my lips, the ice clinking like chains in a dungeon. My chest tightened, breath coming shallow as if the room's air had turned to molasses. Replay. I hit replay. And again, each word carving deeper, like a dull knife through the tender meat of all I'd sacrificed without a whisper of complaint. Tamika? My heartbeat? My sunrise? The child I pushed through labor pains in that cramped ER at Presbyterian, sweatin' and swearing under the fluorescents while the doc yelled for one more push? The girl whose first steps I cheered on the threadbare carpet of our rental in Plaza Midwood? Tears streaming down my face 'cause her daddy was off chasing skirts in Winston-Salem, leaving me to hold the fort with nothing but grit and government cheese? I set the phone down gentle, like it was a live grenade, and stood up slow, legs wobbling like a newborn foal. The kitchen spun a touch, the fridge humming its judgment, the clock ticking accusations, and I gripped the counter, nails digging into the formica till they ached. Tears? Oh, they came hot and heavy, salting my cheeks, dripping onto the table where we'd shared so many meals. Her laugh filling the space like sunshine. "You gotta go back with me, honey. 'Cause this betrayal don't make a lick of sense without the foundation. The blood and bone I poured into building us a life from the scraps life handed out. Picture me, Lorraine Hayes, barely 20 in the summer of '94, fresh-faced and foolish, slinging burgers at the drive-thru off Independence Boulevard, dreaming of something bigger than the neon sign buzzing over my head. Met her daddy at a block party down in West Charlotte, him all swagger in his FUBU jeans, promising forever over plates of ribs and red Kool-Aid. We tied the knot in a quickie courthouse ceremony, Elvis crooning "Can't Help Fallin' in Love" from the clerk's radio, rings bought from a pawn shop on Central Avenue that pinched my finger something fierce. But by the time that second line showed up on the test stick, he was ghost, packed his duffel and vanished to God knows where, leaving me with a positive pregnancy and a stack of past due notices taller than my hopes. Single mama life. It was a grind, sisters, the kind that wears grooves in your soul deeper than the potholes on Tryon Street after a downpour. I juggled shifts at the mill in Concord, running the looms till my hands blistered, then night classes at Central Piedmont, scribbling notes on business admin under the glow of a desk lamp that flickered like my faith some days. Tamika was my anchor, those big brown eyes watching me from her playpen, her giggles the only paycheck that mattered. I pawned Grandma's brooch for her kindergarten uniforms, the crisp plaid that made her twirl like a princess at recess. Walked miles in the rain to her school plays, cheering louder than the PTA mamas with their minivans and manicures. And holidays? We made magic on a dime. Thanksgiving at the shelter when the power got cut, stuffing our bellies with canned yams and stories about the North Star guiding us through. "Mama's your North Star, baby," I'd say, tucking her in with a quilt stitched from my old uniforms. Ain't nothing gonna dim our light. By her teens, we'd climbed. Me landing that teller job at the Wells Fargo branch in Uptown, counting dollars I could finally keep a few of. Bought that Dilworth fixer-upper in '08, right after the crash. With a loan that nearly broke me but built us a home, gingerbread trim, a backyard with azaleas that bloomed pink as prom dresses, and that front porch where we'd sip Lipton and watch fireflies wink like secrets. Tamika blossomed, straight-A student, volleyball star at West Charlotte High, heading off to UNC Greensboro on scholarships I topped with every overtime check. I cried buckets the day she drove away in that beat-up Civic, but pride swelled bigger than the Catawba in flood season. "Go conquer, baby," I hollered from the driveway, waving till her taillights faded. She met Jamal at a alumni mixer, him fresh out of NC State with an IT degree and eyes that sparkled like the lights on the Duke Energy building. They clicked quick. Double dates at the Speedway Club, engagements under the Christmas tree at Romare Bearden Park. The wedding? A dream. Pearl clutches and bow ties at Friendship Missionary Baptist. Me walking her down the aisle in ivory lace, tears blinded me as they vowed forever. 5 years in, they were settling into their ranch in University City, talking babies and barbecues. I'd drop by with Tupperware of smothered pork chops, slip her a 20 for gas, listen to her vent about night shifts and his long hours. Family Sundays at my place, him charming over chess, her helping in the kitchen, harmonizing on old Anita Baker tunes. Solid, or so the picture painted, but cracks? They were there if you squinted. Jamal's offhand comments about flippin' assets during a cookout. Tamika's hesitation when I'd mention UPDAT in my will. "Mama, you got plenty time," she'd say, changing the subject to potato salad. That message? It filled in the fissures, painted 'em black as midnight. I paced the kitchen till dusk, the floorboards creaking my grief, mind racing through every hug, every "I got you, Mama." Greed? From her? The girl who'd nursed me through that gallbladder scare, holding my hand in recovery, whispering prayers? I poured a splash of bourbon, rare for me but necessary, and sank into the armchair by the window. Watching neighbors mow lawns like life hadn't upended mine. Texted her neutral. "Sweetie, got a funny message, wrong number. Call when free." No reply. Hours stretched, the house echoing empty. Finally, near 9, her text pinged. "OMG Mama, fat fingers. Meant for Jay, crazy day, love utons." Love utons. It landed hollow, echoing off the walls. I saved the audio, buried deep in a folder labeled taxes, then fired up the laptop. Property appraiser's site first. Yep, the house appraised at $650K last spring. Equity fat as a holiday ham. No red flags, but Jamal's cousin, that real estate shark with the flashy infinity? His LinkedIn screamed, "Investor specials." My gut twisted. Was this a family plot, bloomin' slow like kudzu? Slept fitful, dreams tangled with her toddler braids and adult schemes. Woke to fogged windows and a resolve hard as granite. Called into my bingo group, under the weather, y'all. And dove deeper. Old emails, bank logs I'd shared in a weak moment. Nothing damning yet, but the seed was planted. Drove to Freedom Park that afternoon, walking the trails where we'd chased ducks as kids, breathing deep the pine-scented air. "Lord, show me the path," I murmured to the oaks, leaves rustling like whispers. Clarity came slow but sure. Confront? Not yet. Arm myself first, evening brought rain, pattering on the roof like impatient fingers. I was at Publix, basket heavy with collards and cornbread fixins, when the phone lit up again. Jamal's name this time, replying to her. Heart hammering, I ducked into the lot, engine rumbling low, and hit play. The storm outside? It had nothing on the one brewing inside me when his words spilled out. But as the rain blurred the windshield and his chuckle faded, I knew the real shattering was just beginning, and what came next would test every ounce of steel in these southern bones. Rain lashed the windshield like it was trying to wash away the sin I hadn't even committed yet, turning the Publix parking lot into a shallow sea where shopping carts bobbed like derelict boats. I sat there in my Honda, keys dangling from the ignition, the engines idle, a low growl matching the thunder rolling distant over the Blue Ridge foothills. That second message, from Jamal, threaded to hers like a noose tightening, had buzzed in while I was in the produce aisle, squeezing okra like it owed me answers, pretending normalcy could stitch my frayin' heart. Now, with bags forgotten in the passenger seat, wilted greens peeking out like accusing eyes, I stared at the screen, thumb frozen over play. "Get it together, Lorraine," I hissed to the rear view, where my reflection stared back, eyes red-rimmed, braids frizzing in the damp, looking every bit the fool who'd trusted blood over instinct. The wipers swiped once, twice, clearing streaks, but not the fog in my soul. Deep breath, sisters, in through the nose, out like blowing out birthday candles on a cake you baked alone. Hit play. His voice slithered through, that polished drawl he saves for boardrooms and bad ideas, thick with the kind of confidence that masks desperation. "Mika, you holding up? Mama hit you back?" Cool. I got my cousin on the line earlier. He says the paperwork's a breeze. Power of attorney template, nothing fancy. We spin it as family security. Tell her we're locking down the future, baby on board and all. She signs Friday. We escrow by Monday. And poof, $650 in liquid minus the flip fees. Set her up in Gastonia with a view and a fridge stocked. Send checks so she don't darken our door. Smart play, babe. A beat, then that laugh, low, oily, like dripping bacon grease into a fire. Worst case, if she balks, we lean on the capacity card. Folks her age, memory slips, dependent too heavy. Judges nod right along. Seen it flip estates quicker than a bad realtor. Capacity. Dependent. The slurs hit like hail on a tin roof, pelting my pride till it bruised. Me? The woman who'd memorized her social security number at 8 to help with FAFSA forms, who'd driven through blizzards to her sorority formals, who'd balanced her first checkbook over hot chocolate at the kitchen table. I slammed the heel of my hand on the dash, the glove box popping open like a confessional, spilling receipts from happier halls. Old folks. The phrase echoed, tasting bitter as overbrewed chicory, stirring memories of my own mama in her final days at that underfunded home in Concord. Bed sores from neglect, eyes dull as forgotten marbles. Was that my fate in their blueprint? Warehouse the woman who warehoused nothing, not her love, not her labor? Fury rose, hot and holy, mixing with the grief till I couldn't tell one from the other. Rain drummed harder, a baptism I didn't ask for, and I wept, ugly. Guttural sobs that shook the car, mascara running rivers down my cheeks, drove home blind almost. Wipers on frantic, mind a whirlwind of what-ifs and whys. Every red light on Providence Road felt like a judgment, every honk a reminder of the green lights I'd given them unchecked. Pulled into the garage, the door grinding shut like a tomb seal, and unloaded groceries on autopilot, cans clanging in the pantry like accusations. Collards in the crisper, cornbread mix on the shelf, but appetite? Vanished, replaced by a hollow that echoed louder than the fridge's hum. Sat at the table, phone and laptop side by side like reluctant allies, and began the dig. County clerk's portal first, deed clean as a whistle, my name sole owner since the '08 close, no cosigns, no encumbrances from that home equity line I'd tapped for her wedding flowers. But Jamal? A quick Zillow scroll showed his likes, Gastonia listings, starter homes with investment potential, prices laughable next to Dilworth's charm. Coincidence? In this heat? No, ma'am, called Miss Evelyn before the clock struck 7, her office line ringing twice in the quiet evening hush of uptown Charlotte. "Lorraine? Darlin', it's after hours. What's got you in a twist?" Her voice, warm as peach cobbler, steady as the law books piling her desk. I spilled it all. The messages, word for damning word, voice cracking on the laughs that weren't funny. She clucked, sympathetic, pen scratching notes like claws on chalkboard. "Sit tight, sugar. I'll subpoena those threads tomorrow. Pull your estate docs for anomalies. But you? Back up everything. Screenshots, exports, the works. And Lorraine, breathe. This is elder financial abuse territory if it sticks. We build the case quiet, strike smart, hung up feelin' armored, if only a little, and got to work. Apps downloaded, clouds synced, every bite a brick in my wall. Night fell sticky, streetlights haloing through the blinds like watchful eyes. Poured a herbal tea, chamomile, no more bourbon. Needed clear head for the warpath. Texted Tamika light, thinking of you, baby. Supper soon? Dots danced, then, miss you, mama. Crazy shift tomorrow? I typed back hearts, but inside, storm clouds, sleep evaded, sheets twistin' round me like lies. Dreams fragmented, her weddin' dance morphin' to a courtroom gavel, Jamal's grin twistin' to a snarl. Dawn crept in gray, coffee brewin' strong as resolve. Called Big Bertha from the center, 65, built like a Carolina oak with a Suburban that could tow a trailer. Bertha, it's Lorraine. Need backup on a personal matter. Stakeout Friday night. You game? Her whoop boomed. Honey, for you? I'd tail the devil himself. Spill when I pull up. Friday loomed, week dragging like molasses in January. Midweek, I hit the library branch in Dilworth, free Wi-Fi, quiet corners, and dove into forums, elder fraud stories, Reddit threads from mamas scorned. Patterns emerged. Charmers like Jamal, preying on loyalty, twistin' love to leverage. Printed articles highlighted lines that mirrored my mess. Bertha met me Thursday for recon, coffee at McAllister's, her slurpin' sweet tea while I sketched the plan. That boy's got snake eyes, she grumbled, scrolling his Insta, posts of luxury flips, captions drippin' hustle. Seen his type at the casino, bettin' house money on bluffs. Date night arrived, air crispin' with fall's first bite, leaves skitterin' across South Park Mall like fleeing secrets. We parked Bertha's Beast across from Cheesecake Factory, engine off, thermos passin' between us, her spiked with Jim Beam, mine straight black. Nerves jangled like loose change in a dryer. We chattered nonsense, her grandkids' soccer goals, my latest crochet project, to steady the shakes. 8 sharp. There they sauntered, arm in arm, her in that emerald wrap dress from our last mother-daughter spa day, him in slacks pressed crisp. Looked the picture of bliss, leanin' into each other, 'gainst the valet stand, her head on his shoulder. My throat closed. How many times had I prayed for exactly that? They vanished inside, and we waited, me zoomin' my phone cam through the glass like a voyeur in my own life. 20 minutes in, booth by the window, menus down, heads bent close. He tapped his screen, calculator glowin'. She nodded, fervent, pullin' a manila envelope from her purse. Thick, official, unfolded it slow, points and signatures, her pen hovering like a guillotine. They murmured, her laugh tinklin' false, his hand squeezing hers possessive. Click, click. Photos captured, pixels of perfidy. Bertha gripped my knee. Enough, girl. That's your ammo. We peeled out quiet, rain holding off like mercy. Saturday blurred to fortification. Emails to Evelyn with attachments. Calls to my advisor, freeze joint nothings. Add alerts. Stared at the mantle photos, her grad hug, our Myrtle Beach shells, till eyes burned. Why, baby? I whispered to the empty room. Sunday church, pew 3, psalms open, choir liftin', amazing grace, while my grace cracked. She slipped in late, radiant in yellow, Jamal flankin' like a shadow. Fellowship hall buzzed, deviled eggs circulatin', punch ladlin' gossip. Cornered her by the dessert table. Tamika tonight. My house, solo, 8. Her brow furrowed, but she nodded, peck on the cheek leaving lipstick like a lie. Clock crawled to 8, house prepped, lamps low, tea iced, guest bath towels fresh. Doorbell chimed, her, tentative in yoga pants, eyes searchin'. Mama, you okay? We settled living room, photos watchin'. Played the first message. Color drained, mouth agape. That's not... We were brainstorming, Mama. Hypotheticals for his side gig. Voice pitched high, crackin'. Second played, his words filling the space like gas on a fire. She crumpled, sobs wrenchin'. His debts, Mama. The pressure. It snowballed. I never... Words trailed to wails. We talked till stars wheeled, her confessions pourin', wine-fueled what-ifs turnin' scheme under his coax. Showed the stakeout snaps, account locks. Choose child, shadows or light. She fled shaken, promisin' prayer. Door shut, I slumped, spent. Phone buzzed. Evelyn. Digging deeper on Jamal. Debts to the roofline. Fraud whispers. And Gastonia? His escape hatch. The revelation hung, thick as fog off the river. Would it bind us or bury us? But as midnight told, another ping shattered the hush. Tamika, frantic. Mama, he's here. Ragin', help. Midnight's chime hung in the air like a warning bell from the old firehouse down on 7th Street. Tollin' through the quiet of my Dilworth home, where shadows stretched long across the hardwood floors, cast by the single lamp I'd left burnin' like a beacon for lost souls. That text from Tamika, Mama, he's here. Ragin', help, lit up my screen like a flare in the dark, yanking me from the armchair where I'd collapsed after her departure, body heavy with the residue of raw truths spilled like overturned ink. My heart lurched, a wild thing caged in ribs that suddenly felt too tight, and I was on my feet before the echo faded, slippers slapping urgent against the rug. Lord Jesus, not like this, I breathed, snatching my robe from the hook, the flannel soft but no shield against the chill of fear creeping up my spine. Jamal Reagan? In their University City ranch, where I'd hung curtains with her last spring, laughing over iced mochas? Visions flashed, his fist through drywall, her cowering in the closet like I'd found her once after a disagreement she'd brushed off as nothing. No time for doubt, grabbed keys, phone, pepper spray from the junk drawer, gift from Bertha after a neighborhood watch meet, and bolted to the Honda, engine turning over with a cough that matched my panic. Rain had returned, a fine mist that slicked the streets and turned taillights to smearing red warnings as I merged onto I-85 northbound. The dashboard clock mocking at 12:17 a.m. Hands white-knuckled on the wheel, I dialed her, straight to voicemail. Her bubbly greeting, "Hey, it's Mika, leave love." Twisting the knife. Tried again, then texted, "On way. Stay safe, lock doors. No dots." Miles blurred. Exit for University City looming like a gauntlet, my mind racing faster than the wipers. What set him off? The confrontation leak? My locks on the accounts? Or just the unraveling of his house of cards, tumbling now that the queen, my girl, saw the jokers for what they were? Prayed fierce under breath, psalms tumbling automatic, yea, though I walk through the valley. Horns blared as I weaved. Adrenaline sharp as shattered glass, pulled up to their curb 10 minutes later. The ranch house glowing eerie under sodium lamps. Porch light flickering like a dying bulb. No cops yet, hadn't called. Wanted to assess, de-escalate if possible, mama bear style. Front door ajar, a sliver of yellow spill inviting dread. "Tamika?" I called soft, pushing in cautious, spray can heavy in pocket. Living room chaos, lamp tipped, shards glittering on the Berber like cruel confetti, couch cushions hurled like accusations. Voices from the kitchen, his low rumble, her pleas hitching on sobs. "You think you can just, after everything? That old bat's poisoning you against me." Jamal's bark, slurring slight, bourbon? "We were this close, Mika." Her house, our ticket out. "Jamal, stop!" Her cry pierced, small but steel-edged. I stepped in, filling the doorway, robe belted tight, voice calm as a deacon's sermon. "Enough, son. Step back, now." He whirled, eyes bloodshot, shirt untucked, a tumbler dangling from white-knuckled fingers. Shock flickered, then fury. "Lorraine? What the hell, you put her up to this?" He advanced, glass sloshing, but I held ground, spray half drawn. "Put her up to seeing clear? No, boy. That's truth doing the work. You? You're done here." Tamika rushed to my side, clinging like ivy, face streaked, lips swollen subtle. "Mama, he found the papers. Knew I talked to you." He laughed bitter, glass crashing to the tile, shards skittering, bourbon pooling dark. "Talked? Conspired? Freezing me out, ruining us. That Dilworth dumps mine by right. Years of fixing it up, listening to her sob stories." Spittle flew, veins bulging in his neck like rivers in flood. I stepped forward, voice dropping low, auntie authority thick. "By right? Boy, you mean by scheme? Those messages? Your debts choking you like kudzu? I know it all. Evelyn's files, the Ponzi whispers from your investments. Gastonia for you, not me. Karma's calling, collect." His face twisted, rage to realization, shoulders slumping as the fight bled out. "You? You don't get it. Pressure, bills piling, baby dreams slipping. It was temporary, Temporary lies? Tamika whispered, voice breaking free, stepping forward. Mama's sacrifice is temporary? Our vows? Silence stretched, heavy as the humid air, broken only by distant thunder. He sank to a chair, head in hands, muttering defeat. Just go. Both of you. We backed out slow, her duffel grabbed hasty. Clothes, toiletries, that locket I'd given her birth in her. In the car, she shattered full, head-on dash. I chose wrong, Mama, so wrong. Drove her home through the downpour, my hand on hers, words soft. Choice ain't final, baby. Dawn brings do-overs. Monday dawned bruised purple, sky heavy but breaking, matching the ache in my temples from fractured sleep on the couch while she claimed the guest room. Coffee brewed black, we sat kitchen table, her in my robe too big, eyes hollow but holden. What now? She asked, stirring sugar endless. Pulled out Evelyn's latest email, printed fresh. Jamal's credit report a horror show, $120K in holes. Payday lenders circling like vultures, that cousin's firm under audit for creative accounting. Now? You file. Separation protection order. I call the detective. Last night's scene? It's evidence. She nodded slow, fork poking eggs untouched. Therapy too? For me. Unpack why I ignored the red flags. Pride flickered. My girl rising. Yes, ma'am. We go together. Roots tangle, but we untie 'em kind. Weak unspooled to action. Courthouse run for the order, her signin' papers with hands steady as mine had been at her weddin'. Jamal served at work. IT desk turning to circus. He later texted her frantic, "This ain't us." Talk? Deleted unread. Therapy started Wednesday. A soft-spoken sister in Noda with diplomas wall to wall and a box of tissues handy. First session? Raw as peeled onions, her admitting his controls creep, isolating her from friends, twisting my help to guilt. Me? Confessing the overgiven, filling voids her daddy left till boundaries blurred. Healthy love sets free, not fences, the counselor murmured, and light cracked through. But Jamal? He didn't fade quiet. Thursday evening, as Tamika napped off shift and I simmered greens, turkey necks bubbling fragrant, a knock rattled the door, firm but not frantic. Peered through peephole, him, suit rumpled, bouquet wilting in fist. "Lorraine, please." 5 minutes. For Mika. Against better angels, I cracked the chain. 2. Porch. No closer. He stood under the swing, roses drooping like his charm. I messed up. Bad. Debts from bad trades. Crypto crash, you know? Thought the flipped fix it, surprise her with security. But I see now. Wrong path. Eyes pleaded, but I saw the calculate still, the hook waitin'. Security? Built on my back? Boy, you gambled my peace. Courts talking restitution, maybe charges. Walk away clean, stay gone. He deflated, flowers thrust forward. Give her these? Tell her. I loved her once. Turned tail, infinity purring away into twilight. Tamika read the card. Sorry don't fix fractures, but I'm trying. And tossed it, tears brief but cathartic. Once, yeah. We walked Freedom Park that weekend, leaves crunching gold underfoot, air crisp with cider scents from vendors. Talked dreams reborn, her nursing certification bump, my consultant gig taking shape, classes at the center on estate basics for sisters like us. Laughter crept back, tentative as spring shoots. But Sunday supper brought the hook. Evelyn's call, voice tight. Lorraine, feds raided his cousin's office. Fraud ring, your messages? Key evidence. And Jamal? Questioned. He's crackin', pointing fingers every which. Tamika overheard, face palin'. Mama, what if he drags me down too? I hugged her fierce. Truth floats, baby. Lies sink. Yet as we cleared plates, my phone buzzed. Unknown. Detective Ramos. Need you both downtown. Jamal's talkin', names droppin', and yours is loud. The words landed like thunderclap. Would justice heal or hurricane us further? Little did we know, the gale was gathering force, ready to uproot the last rotten limbs. Downtown Charlotte loomed that Monday morning. Its skyline a jagged crown of glass and steel, piercing a sky still bruised from the weekend storms. Skyscrapers reflecting the sun like mirrors holding too many secrets. Detective Ramos's summons had hung over breakfast like a pall, eggs congealing untouched on our plates. Tamika's fork clattering nervous as she pushed peas around. my coffee going cold while I murmured, "Whatever comes. We face it shoulder to shoulder here." She nodded, braids swinging like pendulums counting down to judgment, but her eyes, my eyes, held a spark now, tempered by the week's fires. We dressed deliberate, me in my good Navy pantsuit from the bank days, pearls clasped like armor, her in scrubs, badge pinning her to purpose. Drove the familiar route to the public safety center off Trade Street, past the bustle of uptown lunchers oblivious to our private Armageddon, parking in the shadow of the gallows-tall building that housed more truths than any church confessional. Ramos met us in a conference room stark as a monk's cell. Beige walls, table scarred from countless confessions, coffee urn brewing sludge that smelled of regret. Mid-40s, salt and pepper buzz cut, badge glinting under fluorescence. He shook hands firm, no nonsense. "Mrs. Hayes, Tamika, appreciate you coming quick. This Jamal Turner situation? It's ballooning. Spread files like a deck of doom, printouts of wire transfers, emails chaining Jamal to his cousin's investment club. A Ponzi web snaring churchgoers and kin alike. Promising flips that flopped into felonies. Your voice notes? Gold. He cracked last night. Post-raid. Admitted the scheme. Your property is the crown jewel. But here's the twist. He named accomplices. Family ties, workplace whispers. My gut clenched. Who else? Tamika leaned in, voice steady. Me? I swear, detective, I pulled back soon as I knew. Ramos nodded kind. We see that, your anonymous tip on his gun? Saved lives, maybe, but statements needed. Clarity for the DA. Hours ticked in that room, air thick with recirculated doubts and the scratch of pens on pads. I recounted the messages, the stakeout, the porch plea, details spilling like floodwater after a levee break. Tamika followed, voice gaining ground. Her blindness to red flags, the night he shattered glass and trust, the choice to call it in. Ramos taped it all, nodding at the turns, then slid photos across, Jamal in cuffs outside his mama's, face gaunt as a ghost, cousin in orange jumpsuit mugging for the blotter. Charges sticking, fraud, attempted elder abuse, firearm possession. Bail denied, flight risk. Relief washed, cool as mint julep on a scorcher, but laced bitter. He'll do time? I asked, pearls twisting in fingers. Plea talks, 5 to 7 minimum. Restitution heavy, Tamika exhaled shaky. And us, clean? Ramos smiled faint, spotless. Heroes even. Walk tall. Drove home in golden afternoon light, Levine Avenue Bridge arching graceful over the tracks, radio crooning low Al Green to soothe the raw edges. It's over, Mama, she whispered, hand on mine at the stoplight. Not over, beginning, I corrected, squeezing back. We rebuild fancier. Supper that night? Celebratory almost. Fried catfish from the spot on Beatty's Ford, hush puppies golden, slaw crisp as fresh starts. Bertha dropped by unannounced, bearing pecan pie and bear hugs. Heard through the grapevine, y'all queens now. Laughter bubbled, real and rib aching, filling the dining room where ghosts had lingered just days prior. Months unfurled like dogwood blossoms come spring. Slow, but sure, petals unfurling to reveal the strength beneath. Tamika's separation finalized clean, no contests. She moved permanent to the guest room turned suite, walls painted sage for serenity, her scrubs hanging beside mine in the closet. Therapy wove deeper, sessions unpacking generational threads, my overpouring from daddy wounds, her clinging to control against chaos. Boundaries are love's guardrails, our counselor affirmed, and we etched them in. Weekly check-ins, no unsolicited helps, space for solo flights. Her career soared, promoted to charge nurse, mentoring new grads with the grace I'd modeled, even dating cautious, a quiet pharmacist from Bible study, coffees turning to park strolls. No rings rushed. Jamal's fallout rippled wide. Trial in federal court. Headlines in the Observer whispering, uptown scam snared, his mama calling once tearful, he shamed us all, Lorraine. Forgive? I did, quiet-like, over the line. Forgiven. But forgotten? That's on him. Sentence landed 6 years, restitution planning. A chunk earmarked for my peace fund, irony sweet as sorghum. His cousin drew 8, firm shuttered, leaving a trail of shattered savers we testified for, voices join in a chorus of the wronged, me. Lorraine's legacy bloomed full, consulting workshops at the YWCA, teaching single mamas to armor estates with trusts and talks. My Dilworth porch hosting circles where stories swapped like recipes. Added Tamika to the deed, equal shares, no strings but success. We rise together, or not at all. Holidays healed, Thanksgiving with Bertha's clan, tables groaning under turkey and testimonies. Christmas, her gift a custom journal. For your truths. Mama, pages waitin' for the next chapter. Now, summer hums again in Ballantine, cicadas chorusing triumphs. My garden riotin' with tomatoes red as redemption. Tamika's laugh rings frequent, her hand on a swellin' belly. That baby we dreamed, comin' right. Betrayal's scar? Faint now, a reminder etched like fine lace on skin. Pain forges, don't fracture if you let it. That wrong message? Not curse but catalyst. Waken us to wield our worth fierce and free. Sisters, when kin cuts, don't bleed out. Cauterize with courage, bloom from the break. Love yourself first, deep, unyieldin'. 'Cause that's the real inheritance, passin' down unbreakable. Did you like my story? Which city you listening from? Meet in comments. Super thanks keeps these comin'. Thank you. Check screen for 2 new stories. More on channel. Subscribe. With love, Auntie Lorraine.